What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Buckeye BS. It's your boy Ron James of Best Damn Media here with my guy Cleveland Mike and QP Ski. How you guys doing today?
Living good, man. You know, got another Buckeye dub, you know, just feeling good.
So yeah, top 10 win Sunday after. So feeling good, cannot complain. Ready to continue the momentum, keep the week rolling.
I'm feeling good, man. I'm going to tell you guys, I got a great night of sleep because, man, on top of the Buckeyes getting a top 10 victory, we were blessed with an early Christmas present this week. And I want to jump into that real quick before we get started on this crazy Buckeye victory, man. I know we just had a top 10 victory, but I am still joyous after hearing the Michigan Wolverines have been served another notice of allegations by the NCAA and have been alleged to have been stealing signs, man. What are your guys' thoughts on the Michigan Wolverines being under investigation?
Well, I mean, hell, they've been under investigation since, before the season even started. So kind of not surprised. It's one thing when a coach likes to talk about other programs and stuff, cheating and doing all of this stuff, but damn, you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. You got caught with your hand in a cookie jar, man. And I see the Team Up North fans and people are pushing this narrative that everybody does this, but we're hearing there's rumors that this could be more egregious, where they were doing illegal still silent using technology and other things like that. So if that's true, man, them narratives is going to change up real quick about what Harbaugh need to do just to save his job. That's crazy. So what about you, Q?
Yeah, they just can't stay out of trouble, can they? So it feels like since Ron talked about since the start of the offseason, it's been this, it's been that, is small, stupid stuff, and the list continues to grow. So at some point, it's going to bite them in the ass, and it seems like it's going to. So we will see what comes of it. But I'm just like, damn, bro, just stop fucking up. Stay out of trouble just for a week. So it's funny. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, enough talk about those piss skunks. I just had to get that out of there because, man, I'm still joyous about it. I mean, the Buckeyes won, and I'm feeling great. But, man, seeing bad things for them is always a special feeling as well. But the Buckeyes get it done yesterday. Top 10 win over number 7 Penn State, 20-12. I just want to get your guys' initial thoughts coming out of the game. I know yesterday me and Mike were on the voice of college football with Mark Rogers. Me and Chris Drew did an instant reaction on Bleacher Report. But, man, what are your thoughts 24 hours after the win?
Man, 24 hours after the win, great defensive win. We was asking questions. Is BIA back? Is the Silver Bullets back? Well, we got to wait till we go up against the Penn State to see if that is. And, hey, I just want you to know, the Silver Bullets is back. BIA is back. Put on your seatbelt.
Nah, most definitely. My predictions were hitting. Buckeyes under 30 points and the victory. So what do you want me to tell you? No, man, it's a great, like I said, the defense has been showing up and showing out and carrying this team all season. I did not expect that to change, and they do so again. Me and Ron talked about it all week. It's like, well, Denzel Burke might be out. I'm like, all right, Jermaine Matthews step in, Jordan Hancock step in, like, let's roll. and the DBs went out and played extremely well. Even I didn't have heavy criticism from the linebackers this week. I felt good. I thought they were back in action. I'm like, okay, a pass here, a pass there, but for the most part, you're making tackles. You're doing what you're supposed to do. We're playing against two really good running backs. So I was happy all around with the defense. Offense still leaving a bit to be desired, but as long as this defense is playing like this, man, it gives us a chance against anybody in the nation. So I am very happy with the win. Top 10 win, put our resumes up there with the best in the country, and let's continue to move forward.
I heard you mention the linebacker play being pretty good. Is like, should I call my travel agent and see if my tickets for New York are still good? I mean, does the Tommy Hosmenberg campaign need dusted off? No?
No.
I wouldn't go that far. You need some outstanding performances for you to do that.
He need about 2 sacks a game to do that.
Yeah. So coming out of this game, man, it feels like every time the Buckeyes get a big win, everybody in the national media, the national fans outside of Buckeye Nation want to move the goalpost about the opponent. They like to tell us the week leading up to games that we stink, the opponent's going to pound us, and then when we get the win, oh, that team stinks. So I just want to get your thoughts. After this win, do you think it tells you more about how good Ohio State and their defense is, or the deficiencies that Penn State had and had been overlooked by their schedule and who they've played to this point?
I think you could say that's a little bit of both, Ryan.
A combination.
Yeah, for real, because I think that this defense is tremendous. I think that Jim Knowles is worth that $2 million that he's getting. But also, we have been talking about, Penn State not really playing anybody. How is that going to look? The numbers could be a little bit skewed because of the opponents that you played. And then you come up and you end up finally playing an opponent, and that moment's just too big for you, right? So, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would say that as well. I thought our offense left a lot out there, man. For them to have this high-ranking defense they did, and they do have good players out there, as you can see across the field. But I thought our offense had an opportunity to get them multiple times. We got to continue to be consistent and put it together, but the opportunities were there. And then this defense, like we said, it's been rolling. You said it. You were like, they're not a chunk play team. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let them drive softly down the field and you'll be fine. Our defense did not do that. They held them down. They got a touchdown just going out the game. But again, the performance was there to be had. As the week went on, I was less worried about Penn State. I'm like, these guys are going to put in performance, and how are we going to feel if Ohio State puts in a very solid win, and it now has happened. So I would say a little bit of both.
Yeah, I want to take a little victory lap here, man, because sometimes we say a lot of things on this show and we get a lot of things wrong, and I'm not denying that. But, man, people talk to us as if we don't cover this team 7 days a week and how much time we spend watching this team, covering this team, talking to people about this team, that they make it seem like we don't know anything and like we're just an average fan. And I talk to Penn State fans coming into this game, and I said, I'm looking at your guys' yard per play, and I just want to know, with Ohio State's defense, how many third downs are you going to be able to convert every drive to sustain these long dink and dunk, lack of explosive play type of offense against one of the best defenses in the country? And then we come out here and see Penn State go 1 for 16 on third down. And you guys heard me ask in Spaces, you heard me ask on Bleacher Report, Buckeye Roast. Every time I got in front of a microphone, I said, I understand that Penn State's good. I understand that Drew Aller's good. But we always talk about what is going to kill the Buckeyes. And we say explosive plays. And you're telling me we're supposed to fear an offense that has zero threat of explosive plays? It didn't make sense to me. And I kept telling people throughout the week, I'm getting uncomfortably comfortable about this game because I don't think that they're going to be able to sustain these drives by converting 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. I'm asking Penn State fans, like, it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. Who do you expect the ball to go to? And they're like, I could go to a lot of people. I'm like, well, if there's not someone that you think that you could go to for an explosive play and you think it's going to be contribution by committee with guys like Liam Clifford, like, that's a joke. And everybody's like, oh, what's the biggest difference between these two teams? Like, wide receiver. They're pretty evenly matched in a lot of other places, but wide receiver is the biggest distinction. And would we see Marvin Harrison Jr. made the biggest difference between the two teams? And it's just like, we watch these games, we look at the stats, we talk to people from all kinds of different teams, and it's just like some people just don't want to hear certain things about their team. And I mean, there's things that I don't want to hear about the Buckeyes, but at the same time, unless you want to get surprised on Saturday or end up with a bunch of egg on your face, like, you have to pay attention to what you're seeing. And 4 yards per play, like when you look at the stats of that Iowa game, Penn State versus Iowa, and you see Drew Aller throw for 166 yards and 4 touchdowns when Marvin Harrison Jr. had more receiving yards against Maryland. It's just like, I don't see how that team was going to come out and put up a ton of points. I said all week, I don't see them scoring more than 17 points. And we come out and we see them put up 12 points. So I just want to get your thoughts on the defense's performance. And did you expect us to be able to get off the field on third down this week?
Yeah, I definitely expected it. And you saw every game, the defense on third downs, on fourth downs. People was trying this because they saw in the beginning, like I said, we was treating it like the preseason, but nobody wanted to listen to us at Best Damn Media, right? But we told them, and you just kept seeing the defense. People was trying this. Defense getting stops over and over. And I also think that James Franklin owes that reporter an apology because, like, Ron, to piggyback off what you were saying, Penn State fans were saying, hey, we don't know what our offense is going to look like. Like, what do you mean you don't know? You've seen it. They're not hiding anything. Oh, you think that they're going to just all of a sudden start taking deep shots and hitting them when you didn't do it against the Delawares or the UMass? And then what happened when you tried to get vertical? Them balls was terrible. He was throwing to the coaches out there on the sideline.
And when we were on Bleacher Report this week, you saw the graphic that me and Chris Drew put on the screen. 1 for 5 deep balls against UMass. We were in the space with TK. I asked, I'm like, you guys can't complete an explosive play against UMass. What makes you think you're going to do it against Tommy Heismanberg and the vaunted Ohio State defense?
Oh, no.
Not too much, Ron, but yeah, we understand where you're going. We understand where you're going, but not too much.
A little too much sauce on that?
A little too much. We got to rinse that off a little bit.
Reel it back in.
But yeah, no, walking into this week, we had talked about it. I said this Penn State team doesn't have a Marvin Harrison Jr. And like so that was the biggest difference in the game. They didn't have a guy that I felt like our corners were going to have trouble with even when Denzel Burke out and that they couldn't manage. And that is where your explosive plays come from. These two running backs, very good players, did not get off on Saturday. Had a couple good runs, but outside of that, it wasn't much going. So this team just didn't have the weapons. And I compared Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Penn State. We compared Penn State and Notre Dame. It was the same. I just felt like they didn't have the weapons with the level to challenge us, and they didn't. And this defense, again, shows out guys flying around the field, performing at a high level. And it's like, at that point, I was like, Penn State ain't going to be the team. Somebody may have a chance to do it, but it won't be this Penn State team this week. And we continue to roll from there.
So we saw the Seatbelt Society in full force on Saturday, a big click it or ticket campaign going on in Ohio Stadium on Saturday. We talked all week about the injury to Denzel Burke and a guy that we think is going to be a day one pick after this season. And we see, and shout out to our guy, Go Jay. He said his family was out there balling, and we talked about it all week. Jermaine Matthews stepping up in the moment and balling out for the Buckeyes. We had him on the graphic on Bleacher Report. We talked all week. He was a Ron 3 5-star coming in to the season. I said that he was one of the best corners in the country. His tape is ridiculous. His high school tape looked like wide receiver tape. He's cribbing every pick six. Like, this kid is ridiculous. And I knew that we had great corner play if they were able to keep him off the field, and then he gets on the field and you don't even see a drop off. This kid is spectacular. The world needs to know his name. He will be a day one pick. And the fact that the Buckeyes are going to get 3 years of spectacular play out of this kid is exciting and for the future of BIA. So I just want to get your thoughts on Jermaine Matthews' performance on Saturday and him stepping up in such a huge moment. I mean, we talked about, coming into, I believe it was the Purdue game, he was still PFF's number one graded cornerback in the country with the limited snaps that we saw. And we're like, man, we got to get Maine more snaps. And then he's thrown into the fire against Penn State, top 10 matchup. They have him up against, Penn State calls Keandre Lambert-Smith, big play Dre. I didn't see any big plays yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but man, every time I saw 24 on the screen, he was making a play. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the freshman Jermaine Matthews stepping up in a huge moment yesterday.
Man, I think it's crazy that people be trying to tell us that, oh, you want them DBs, you got to go get them from the South. You got to go get them from Florida, from Texas, and all of that stuff. But acting like we didn't have a Denzel Ward or Marshawn Lattimore and all of that, like who have been first rounders, right, coming from the state of Ohio. And Ron, you got a shout out this morning in the spaces from our Penn State fans because Best Damn Media and Ron, because of what we've been covering and saying about Jermaine Matthews, and it all came true. Now, we heard great things coming out of camp in the spring, in the offseason. We heard great things during the season, right? We kept hearing, oh, this guy's ready to play. But then we're like, so why can't we see it no more, right? And I'm just glad that Jermaine Matthews was able to go out there, show what he got. And now this is why you play young guys early. You go ahead. If you want to chase awards and stuff and you want to get those awards for your players, Ryan Day, this is what you do. You rotate those young guys early. You make sure that they're known on the national stage, right? And then when they come in for their sophomore year, them guys are on every preseason award list, man. So shout out to Jermaine Matthews, but also big shout out to Tim Walton and what he's done with the wide receiver, with the cornerback position. I want to tell you guys this, because no matter when we had a defense, when we had first rounders at cornerback, Penn State wide receivers have always gotten off. Will Tim Walton DBs and cornerbacks be better than Kerry Coombs?
That's a crazy question, and it's funny that you bring up the fact that Penn State wide receivers usually get off against Ohio State, because my buddy who's a Penn State fan goes, I'm not trying to hear that we don't have wide receivers because you tell me that every year, and then they go out there and cook one of your corners and end up getting drafted because of it. He was like, every Penn State wide receiver that's been drafted is because of their Ohio State tape. So I'm not hearing we don't have wide receivers. Well, this was the year you guys don't have wide receivers.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, that's too funny. And like Mike said, shout out to Tim Walton, man. You put the room together. These guys have played solidly. His stock is just continuing to rise, and he's marketing himself well, putting out those clips every Thursday and Friday about some real life stuff and just the way to go about life. So shout out to Tim Walton. First of all, his room has been excellent. Him and Perry Eliano are earning money this offseason. They're trying to catch Parker Fleming with the raise amount.
Yeah, if he got a raise last year, I can't imagine what they're about to pay these guys.
They're competing. There's only a limited amount of money left. We know Parker's coming for something.
They're gonna be like, the way my bank account is set.
Right, they're gonna need a new petty tax to pay this staff.
But yeah, man, Jermaine Matthews step out in the spotlight, big time game. This is the reason you come to Ohio State. For moments like this, Mike had talked about it all for weeks now, talking about if these guys are truly ready to play, and we've all touched on this, you got to rotate them. You got to get them in the game, because when an injury happens or a big-time moment happens, they are ready to go. They have done that with Jermaine Matthews. He's been one of the few guys who they put in the light, and you've seen it. You've seen him make tackles when guys caught the ball. You've seen him break up passes. We've seen him get a pick six. Everything is there for this kid to be a first rounder or whatever he wants to do. And this was that first big moment in that path. So definitely shout out to him for being ready to be called on, putting in the work when nobody sees. And he came out and played well. And this entire defense played well, the other corners as well. So it's par for the course for this room as it's been, and continue to keep that momentum going forward.
Yeah, man, we've been talking about the return of BIA for quite a while now. Our guy Seaball challenged Denzel Burke during the offseason. They had a little exchange in the DMs, and Denzel let him know, like, I'm completely aware that last year wasn't up to the BIA standard, and I'm going to bring it back. And he told us, I'm going to bring it back. And we talked about it during the offseason. We did a show, and I'm going to put the cover on the screen. We said that Ohio is going to play a huge role in the return of BIA. And you see Jermaine Matthews right in the center of that graphic. You see the pipeline of cornerbacks that are going to be coming to Ohio State from the state of Ohio. You see Sonny Styles in the back there, him elevating this defense in the nickel role and in his hybrid linebacker position. Just seeing all of these Ohio guys contribute and soon to contribute to this defense, and the return of BIA is super exciting. And I think you saw the start of the Ohio return of BIA with Jermaine being inserted into the lineup, and just knowing that Denzel Burke's going to come back and we're going to be able to have the rotation and the depth at that position is exciting to see, because it feels like it's been a while since we've had that type of depth in the corner room and in the secondary in general. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Ohio's role in this return to BIA and how much that means, because we talked about it. I mean, Mike's the Cleveland guy and talks about the Glenville attitude that those players bring to this team. We got 2 more Glenville kids coming onto the team next year. Just how important it is to have these kids from Ohio on this team and what it means to have that block O on your chest. And I feel like that's part of the elevation of this defense and the play of this team. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the importance of Ohio players on this team.
Man, every time we won a national championship, you're talking about the heart and soul of the guys are from Ohio. I really believe that, especially when you're talking about this secondary and on the defense. Those guys play way harder just being from Ohio, man. I played football, Division I, high school in Ohio. And so I've played against guys. I've played against guys at Glenville. Like, I know how good and how talented Ohio football is. And there's so many hidden gems. And like I've said, if football was year-round in Ohio like it was, it is crazy with the less population that we have in Ohio versus Texas and Florida. I'm telling you, Ohio could be just a special place, man. And I think OSHA need to get out the way and allow these kids to develop, because there are some amazing football players that could really represent the state of Ohio and around college football.
Yeah, man. Ohio's bringing BIA back. Virginia's bringing back the Rushman. I couldn't get it out. But yeah, man, let me stop messing around. But no, man. Obviously, I think we touched on it maybe back in the summer. And when Ron started talking about, Ohio and the DBs that were coming up, it was the point where, like, the way recruiting was going and the way this landscape is changing, this is the perfect time for the talent in Ohio to be taken back to Ohio State and produce. I know we do a lot of national recruiting. We like to go to Florida or Texas or California and go get the best players. It is becoming more increasingly hard. And to have this little pipeline start to come in to BIA, the unit that has been struggling probably the most the past few years, it's perfect timing, man. And these guys are coming in. They're ready to ball. The talent is there. We just got to get them in the room. And Tim Walton is doing his magic with that happening. So I'm loving to see it. I'm loving the dog in these guys. And obviously we go back to those natties, and Ohio was the center part of that. So it's as important as any part of this team, the attitude, the way they come in, the way they know the rivalry, the way they set the tone. It just goes to say we can't do it without those guys. So continue to bring them in. Let's continue to develop. And I'm loving to see the resurgence of BIA.
So you brought up a guy that I want to talk about, Tyleik Williams. I know that he is Virginia's finest. I know that I know he's from around your hometown, so you always got to represent for your guy. I don't have the stats updated after yesterday's game, but we used this graphic on Bleacher Report this week, and man, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Were you surprised when you saw these numbers? Shout out to our guy Terry T from College Football Stop putting these numbers together. Man, look at Tyleik's numbers compared to Jalen Carter. I know he did not have a sack yesterday. I'm trying to see, added 2 more tackles so we could update that to 29. 6 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 4 pass breakups, and 1 touchdown. Tyleik Williams has been balling out. We talked about Penn State's interior being soft and the problems that we thought that Tyleik may be able to cause in the run game. Were you guys surprised by the Buckeyes' ability to stop the run? I know Penn State did have the one drive where they had a couple long runs, and it was surprising because I even turned to my friend from Penn State and I said, you guys really haven't had too many long runs this season. Like, your run game has been stalled recently. It was weird to see them get that going, but that was stopped immediately after that drive, and that drive stalled into a field goal. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Ohio State's run defense yesterday and the play of Tyleik Williams.
Yeah, if you listen to a lot of Penn State's before this game and in the preseason, they had the 2 best running backs in the country. If you said anybody, a running back from Ohio State, or talked about our running back depth, Penn State fans tried to shut us down real quick. But what our defense has been doing in this run game, I think is amazing. You're talking about the D tackles. Them dudes, I don't think that people are, if you just watch the ball in the game, that's one thing. Go rewatch the game and go just watch the trench play. Every time, don't follow the ball, just follow the trench play. What Tyleik Williams and Mike Hall, even Ty Hamilton, all of those guys, JTT is able to do while being held. And I thought Tyleik Williams was going to be the guy who goes off in this game. I thought it was going to be his game. But for some reason, my usage wanted to try JTT. I don't know why everybody just doesn't see it on film. But if you try to hand the ball off, going the other way, and leave JTT block and having the tackle crash down, JTT beats it every time. So I don't know what they were thinking about doing that stupid stuff. But, man, I'm very impressed. Everybody been talking, where's these stat numbers from our DNs, all of this stuff. But what they have done in the run game has not been talked about enough, and I hope that everybody now, after this Penn State victory, can really appreciate it, because I've been trying to tell y'all, like, they've been holding it down in the run game, especially JTT.
Yeah, man, and if you like the way the defensive line has been playing, they would like it if you like the video. Hit that sub if you're new around here, man. Tyleik Williams just texted me. He said, hey, if y'all like my performance yesterday, like the video, let's keep it rolling. So I appreciate y'all. Got around 100 people in here. Keep hitting the chat. It's popping over there. Definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, man, this defensive line is continuing to be really good in the run game. I mean, Mike Hall and Tyleik, I gotta say, and Ron talked about this week about how crazy it just was that they didn't play last season. And although Ty Hamilton, too, as good as these guys are, they have pretty much dominated every offensive line that we've gone against, or have hit a stalemate at certain points. So they continue to be themselves. I mean, JT shows back up. He's like, oh, yeah, this is Penn State, right? All right, I guess let me dust my old uniform off last season, because, Penn State showing up, I got to perform. Shout out to him. Shout out to this entire defensive line. I mean, Tyleik and Mike Hall, I believe, are first-round talents. I believe JT, when he's at his best, is up there as a first-round talent. And Jack Sawyer is not bad in the run game either. There's even a little bit to be desired in the pass rush, but he is still a very good effort player. He when he needs to make a play, he does. So, yeah, this defensive line continues to be really good. They're the best part of this team, and this secondary is really challenging them for that. But I still believe this defense rolls with the defensive line, and their performance again against 2 of the best running backs in the nation. They tell us, and I think these guys are really good, but they perform. They down the line of scrimmage. They don't allow them to get off.
Yeah, man, the defensive line had a great game yesterday, but before we get into that, continue to talk about that, I need you guys to like the video. There are 103 people in here. We got less than 30 likes on that, man. We got to run that up. I need you guys to like that button if Michigan is guilty of cheating. So if they are some cheaters, I need you to like that video right now. But I want to keep talking about the defensive line, because I'm sitting here looking at the box score, and we talked about the JTT, the Penn State killer. I asked my friend who's a Penn State fan, where are they going to put the statue on Penn State's campus of JTT? Like, because it has to go up, man, because what he has done to that team 2 years in a row is a legendary performance. So they said, do you think JTT is going to go crazy? I'm like, no, we saw the JTT legacy game last year. There's no way he could repeat it again against the same school. And I don't know if the athletic director position is open, president of the university, or if they just want to put a statue in front of the stadium. But JTT needs a monument on Penn State's campus. But then you look at the box score and you see the future, as SpongeBob would say, future of the Buckeyes with Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry getting in on the action yesterday with a sack apiece. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the younger guys. We've seen them getting more involved in the rotation, especially it was great to see those guys out there, especially after the Notre Dame game. We saw Jack and JTT take every single defensive snap in that game, and we're now starting to see the younger guys that we know are dudes starting to get some rotation. So just want to get your guys' thoughts on seeing the contribution and the depth of that defensive line, especially at the defensive end.
Well, Ryan Day actually kind of talked about it in his press conference this week about, the young guys who are freshmen coming in. He was like, if they're like that guy, normally this is around the time that they start to come along, right? And you're seeing more rotation. Larry Johnson, it's all about a trust thing with Larry Johnson, man. And once he trusts you, man, he going to put you in there. And those guys, like, we've been talking all offseason about the twitch, right? All offseason, we talked about the undrafted guys, how the guys not twitchy, how they're not able to do this, how they run stiff and all of that. These young guys don't have that. And like I told you guys in the preseason, what's going to be key? Rotation. I love it, man. Love to see the young guys continue to eat, and this will keep our guys fresh going into those big games because that's what you ended up seeing. I'm not going to lie to you. When this game got in the fourth quarter, I was worried because I was like, man, I remember in that Team Up North game, we was in a tight game, and then all of a sudden, they gashed us. Our defense was tired in the fourth quarter. That is not what I saw in this game. Defense was still eating and energized. Shout out Coach Mick. Shout out Larry Johnson, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man. We the preview we did with this defensive line just coming into the offseason as a total, it was like, man, you cannot go wrong. And we talked about maybe too much rotation or not getting the good guys in the game long enough. But when we walked in with this defensive line, it was like, you can't go wrong here. Yeah, rotate at defensive tackle, defensive end. It doesn't matter who you get in. They're going to eat and they can play good ball. And we were starting to see that. I was heavy critical after the Notre Dame game with Larry Johnson. The young guys didn't even get a chance at defensive end, and we didn't exactly produce for most of it. I mean, JT at the end, it's just like, all right, I woke up and I'm about to cause havoc. But for the most part, I'm like, dude, get some rotation in there. These guys don't have to play 200 snaps. And we saw that. The young guys, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, coming in, making their presence felt. I love it. I don't think you can go wrong here. I think you need a little rotation going down the block here as we get into later parts of the season. Don't want guys to burn out. I think it's absolutely necessary. And I love it. These young guys are coming, and that's the way it should be. This is Ohio State. The next guy should always be chomping at the bit to get in the game and show that, hey, like, this guy's established here, but I belong as well. So I love the way the defensive line played.
I want to pivot a little bit from the defense. I saw a chat that I had to star a little earlier, and it was a topic of conversation during the halftime space yesterday, and it had Buckeyes divided, and I just want to get your thoughts. Our guy Stu said the only thing I wasn't a fan of was the knee before half, LOL. And me personally, I loved it. I saw the way the game was going. I have PTSD from watching Mario fumble away a game, pun intended, a week or two ago. And I was like, get off the field. Make sure that everybody knows the script for the second half. Go in the locker room. Take your lead. We are playing a top 10 team. Don't get greedy. Don't do something stupid here. We are playing a good defense. Respect your opponent. Take the knee, get off the field, and go to the locker room. And I just saw Twitter with their hair on fire when they saw Ryan Day take a knee, especially with the way that Kyle was struggling to complete passes there towards the end of the second. I just thought it was a great coaching, me personally, to take the knee and get to the locker room safely. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that situation during the game.
Man, yes, it was the safe decision. It was the smart decision because it was just coming off of that fumble 6 that was called back, right? It was like not too long after that. So, honestly, they weren't lying. Like you heard the announcers talking about, man, you can see Kyle like he's tired, nerves are running through. And then when the camera panned to his face, I was like, yep, they ain't lying. So I'm glad that Ryan Day did exactly what he did. The reason why Buckeye fans are surprised is because just with any other quarterback, it's like Ryan Day just always was that guy on offense. Like, I'm going to put my mother effing throat, like foot on your neck. Like, he was just always that guy. And so, I just think that him and Kyle got to build more trust because, he kept saying, we are open. We are open, and we weren't hitting those open things, those hitting guys in stride or any of that. So, yeah, Ryan Day definitely made the smart choice.
Yeah, if we had CJ back there, I'd be like, hey, go for it. Yeah, like Mike said, we're missing guys. Quarterback play wasn't exactly excellent going into the half. So you take the safe route, man. I don't like going for field goals a lot of times. We're that close to the end zone, but we can use those 3 points eventually. So it's the safe route. Unfortunately, it's a coaching decision. We all want to get the most we can get, and not all times is that the best decision. Like Mike said, Kyle just had a turnover, looking flustered, probably tired, and you just don't want him to make a mistake, man. It's protecting your player. Ryan Day has the pulse of his quarterback better than any of us sitting at home. He gets to talk to him. He gets to call the play. So I'm rolling with that decision. I have no problem with it.
And you touched on it right there, and that was going to be the next thing that I brought up. Ryan Day understanding the pulse of his quarterback and how to deal with him. And you see Ryan Day not afraid to lay into Kyle when we're playing a Purdue or something like that and completely berate him as he's coming off the field and show his frustration. But in a massive game like this with such huge consequences, you see Ryan Day understanding a young quarterback that may be rattled, or a new starter that may be rattled, and talking to him, telling him to calm down. Our guys are open. You know what I mean? It's not the how did you miss him type of conversations in the top 10 matchup. It's like, I need to get my quarterback's head back in the game. And it shows the trust that he has in Kyle and the comfortability that he has with him, that like, it seems like Kyle has a leash with Ryan Day, and Ryan Day lets him go out there and be him and knows how to coach him, whether he needs to be tough on him at moments or if he needs to support him and build his confidence in moments. And just hats off to Ryan Day in that moment. Another thing that we heard during the halftime spaces, which was pure lunacy. And again, I never again, Mike, you know me. I take great pride in being a spoiled Buckeyes fan, and I'm unapologetic about it. And I love our fan base and the way that we act. Like, everyone else can kiss our ass if you don't like it. Ohio versus the world. But man, yesterday I was ashamed. I was ashamed at halftime. There were people calling for Lincoln Keenholz. Lincoln Keenholz.
I already knew where I was going to bring it up, man.
We were winning by 4 in a top 10 matchup at halftime, and our spoiled-ass fans were calling for the third-string quarterback, and our guy Mello with a question in the chat. Even though I think Devin Brown scored, but why not QB sneak there? Why not QB sneak? Because if Kyle gets dogpiled and gets hurt, Lincoln Keenholz is our damn quarterback in a top 10 matchup. I turned during the game when Devin got hurt and looked at my friend that's a Penn State fan, and I said, if Kyle gets hurt, how excited do you think the people that were just calling for Lincoln Keenholz 10 minutes ago are actually going to be? Like, the lunacy to even let that come out of your mouth, and then to see Devin Brown go down, and you know what I mean, thoughts and prayers with him, hopefully that he is, you know what I mean, okay. We heard that the x-rays looked all right. They're going to get a precautionary MRI, so fingers crossed Devin Brown is injury is nothing too serious, so thoughts out to him. But man, to hear people say that they want to see the third string quarterback and then to watch our backup go down and know that, hey, if something were to happen to Kyle, Tristan Gebbia or Lincoln Keenholz, and that's the other thing. I hate to rain on everyone's parade. If something would have happened to Kyle yesterday after Devin, we were not going to see Lincoln Keenholz in that game. You would have seen Tristan Gebbia run out onto the field. I will bet my life on it. So that I just had to address that, Mike. You knew that, like, I wanted to end. I almost ended the space. We normally go for the length of halftime.
Yeah, you muted
and
it.
I
And
was so pissed. I was like, Buckeye fans, you guys all need to go, like, look in the mirror and have a talk with yourselves. Anyone that's thinking that, obviously, there was plenty of reasonable Buckeye fans that know how crazy that was. But man, the very few times am I embarrassed of my fan base in my fandom, but yesterday that was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody, like, there was some people talking about, like, let's see Devin Brown be able to, hit someone in stride and stuff. Like, oh, I'm cool with that talk, but the Lincoln King host was that was wild, man. They heard West Dakota Heisman, man, and they wanted ASAP. So.
I blame this on Chris. This is on Chris's phone. Chris' phone, bro. Oh my goodness. I was not in the halftime space, so I did not know that was a thing. But good Lord, man. All I can do is laugh. And yes, Ross right. Tristan Gebbia would have damn sure been in the game. Something to happen to Kyle. Throw the man. I mean, we recruit well, but not that damn well. Throwing dudes in the top 10 matchup at quarterback is saying go for it. Shout out to Lee Kyle host, man. You got the heart of the fan base, bro. Hey, go ahead and get your merch together. Start putting it on the website. Get those dollars rolling in while people got your back, bro. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. So I do want to talk about the quarterback play yesterday. I know a lot of people were clamoring for more, and 24 hours after a major victory, I don't want to be overcritical of the performance because we did get it done in a top 10 victory. I keep saying week in and week out, everybody keeps telling me Kyle McCord is not ready to win a championship for this team. And I tell them, well, guess what? We're not playing for the championship this week. And all I need is Kyle McCord to be better, or to be good enough to beat the team in front of us. And he showed that he was again yesterday, getting the top 10 victory against number 7 Penn State with a 20-12 win. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the quarterback play, what you thought of Kyle's performance. And my biggest thing with Kyle is I feel like there's two segments of this fan base: people that believe that Kyle can and will get better, and people that have seen enough. I am in the camp that I think that Kyle can continue to get better. Yeah, we see him make NFL window throws each week. There's not we've seen the over the shoulder passes to Marvin Harrison Jr. We've seen the deep passes. We saw him dot up Carnell Tate last week. We saw the Carnell Tate window that he threw in this week. We've seen Kyle make the throws, and I think that we've been so spoiled with great quarterback play that it's hard to watch a quarterback become himself. I mean, Sam Hartman did not become the quarterback that people were lauding over coming into the season by playing 7 games. He's been in college since I was, and I graduated in a long time ago. So I'm not even gonna get into that. But man, Sam Hartman's old. Kyle McCord is only 7 starts into his career and battled and had to split reps in a quarterback battle early on. I think he has the arm. I think he has the talent, and I think he has the coach to get him to where he needs to be. I still believe that Kyle is going to continue to get better, and I think he can lead this team to a Big Ten championship and potentially a national championship if he continues to develop. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Kyle McCord at this point.
I mean, my thing is this, and I kind of said this before, is there's a lot of yards and a lot of points that has been left on that field every game. And we criticized Ryan Day on his play calling sometimes. But damn it, Ryan Day was in his bag this game, man. And I mean, he was in his bag early and often.
I thought about that. I was like, this is the first game that I have no complaints about Ryan Day play calling, but I got one to remind you of. We ran the ball on 3rd down and ran a bubble screen on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. I absolutely hated that play. But outside of those 2 decisions, I thought that was a Ryan Day masterclass yesterday.
Yeah, but he did that after what?
Was that after Devin got hurt?
that was after Devin got hurt. So
Okay.
I mean, I just feel like other than that, I mean, what did you expect us to run it in with that old line? Like that was inconsistent. I mean, I didn't expect that. Are
Bro, we
you
might need to
expecting
add the Tebow jump pass with the way our
maybe
goal line
something?
offense is looking.
Honestly, I thought we was gonna see like a G Scott leak or something like that. Like I really thought that we was gonna see something like that. Obviously, we didn't, but I don't know. I mean, all you can do is hope that Kyle gets better. Yes, I'm hoping that Kyle gets better, but it's just hard when I'm seeing like I don't think that we're talking about the catches that our wide receivers are making because they're bailing him out a lot. All of there's a lot of contested catches that don't even need to be contested. I
We got
see
a case of the
Cardinal
drops
Tate.
going on too that I feel seems
I mean,
uncharacteristic for the room.
yeah, there's that, but I mean, I'm also seeing guys like we're used to seeing guys running in stride and being hit on a dime. You're talking about from Fields, you're talking about from CJ. I mean, damn it, we even saw it from damn JT Barrett. I mean, that's what we are wanting to see. Stop leaving all them damn points on the damn freaking field. That's why Buckeye fans are mad because you see the potential of what this team could be. What this team could be could silence everybody. Everybody would have to shut the hell up because of the way this defense is playing. We finally get a defense and then we slacken on offense. We're here. This is what we always said. Once we get a defense, we national championship bound. Ready to get my lines off. And can't even get my goddamn lines off because my goddamn quarterback ain't hitting nobody in stride.
Yeah, man, we've waited for this defense for 3 years now. They're like, dang, move this defense in the last few years. It's like, that's a natty waiting to happen. I still keep the same tone I've had about Kyle McCord since the Notre Dame game. I don't think he's exceptional by any means. Like Mike said, he leaves a lot of points on the field. He misses guys. His wide receiver room will look a lot better if the times they were open, he was hitting them and giving them a chance to make plays after the catch. So, I mean, you even see it from Marvin times where he was like, man, come on, man. Like, we pros out here. Let's get this done and let's grind. So, it's what I come to expect from Kyle McCord. I'm hoping for this level up. I'm hoping for this jump. The more we get into the season, I think this may just be who he is without another offseason of development. But, I mean, I just got to hope for the best at this point. Kyle McCord is the guy we're rolling with, our little quarterback battle, supposedly, and this is what we got out of it. So, I mean, we got to roll from here. Hopefully this defense is good enough when we get into even bigger games coming up on our schedule to carry us over. But still, like you said, Kyle is only 7 starts in. He still has a chance to turn it on. His book is not written. So we just got to hope for that level up and him to have more consistent play. Because like you said, he shows it, bro. He'll come out and make a throw. You're like, whoa, like, okay, that's the guy we recruited. And then that guy goes for lunch. And we have another guy in there for about an hour, and then that guy will come back and make another throw. And it's like, what are we doing? It's like you got 2 personalities, man. Like, wait, where was that guy on the last series? Oh, he's out to lunch. I'm here now. So we just gotta hope he gets consistent.
I see it in the chat and then Twitter. Everybody been calling him Honda McCord. I just need to know what kind is it. Is it a Corolla? Is it a Corolla, a Civic, or a Camry? Like which Toyota? I mean, oh no, I just named off every Toyota, bro. Obviously, I don't know my Honda cars. So.
Just trying to refocus my camera over here. I got a little funny story for you guys. We are 1 like away from 75. Make sure you smash that like button and go ahead and run that up. That helps us a ton. I need you. Everybody knows that from Best Damn Media, we are all over the country. Just a perfect mix of Buckeyes from everywhere, showing that Buckeye Nation is everywhere. I'm in Pittsburgh. Q is in Zona. We call him Zona Buck. Obviously, Cleveland Mike is not. Don't let the name deceive you. He is not in Cleveland. He is in Frisco, Texas. We are all over the country. Let us know where you guys are watching from because we know Buckeye fans are everywhere. I let you guys know that I am from Pittsburgh. My family is entirely Pitt fans. Everybody, we have my family has season tickets. They go to most of the games. And I got a call yesterday from my mom that said my grandma, who is 94 years old, demanded that they put on the Ohio State game yesterday because she has adopted the Buckeyes because her grandson talks so much about them. And she knows that I love the Buckeyes, so she loves the Buckeyes now too. So we have a new Buckeye fan in Pittsburgh. My 94-year-old grandmother watch the game, and she is a diehard Steelers fan, and she constantly shuts those bums off and says, I can't watch it. But for her to be able to sit through the stress of a Buckeye game and root for them, shout out to my grandma. I had to bring that up. Let us know in the chat where you guys are watching from.
I see some folks in there from the 216. All right, shout out Carla. You know what I'm saying?
I also put in the chat that we will be taking questions at the end. So if you have questions for us, drop them in the chat and we will star those and get to them at the end. I got one more topic I want to get to because there's no way that we could get out of here without letting Mike take his victory lap. Every week I get on any platform that they'll let me get in front of a microphone for and demand that we pay Tony Alford. We have seen 4 different backs start for the Buckeyes this year, and they have all performed admirably. Yesterday, we saw Chop get it done. Big red zone touchdown yesterday. We have had arguments on this show. Everyone has dug their feet in the ground on who they think the best running back is on this team. And each week that they get a chance to play, they try to make that argument. And Chop went in and got it done in the top 10 matchup yesterday with injuries to Travion Henderson. So, Mike, the floor is yours.
Man, I told people, man, everybody is in football. See, I guess you could call me old school, but everybody is so enamored and just loves the big playability. That's what makes you the best. But no one thinks about the overall part of the running back position, man. And when you're a running back, you have to have vision. You have to be able to pass block. I seen Chop do that. I also seen my guy Chop when a running back's job is this. You have to make one guy miss. That's your job. I watched this guy make multiple guys miss. Your job also is to get the hard yards. And he did that. And with this O-line, that's the type of running back you need. Wear on them. You allow him to wear on them. And then that's when you bring the explosive guys to allow the pop. Because now you done tore down their front 7. They like, dang, they just keep running on us. And this dude is not easy to tackle because Mayan is not. You've seen him. He should have been stopped right there 2 yards short of the goal line. But somehow he was able to extend the ball, get up there. And I think that's what you need from your running back. I love Trey. Don't get me wrong. I love all of our running backs. But I do think that they should be bringing the change of pace, right? Go ahead, wear these guys down. And I really think that would help our offense. Let the tough back take the tough spot in the beginning of the game because that's when it's tough. Everybody fresh in the beginning of the game. Let him do that, man. Shout out to my guy, Chop. He was in Tony's doghouse for being overweight. I was eating over there at Jeff Ruby's a little too much on this little Denzel Burke mode for a minute. Like
that lobster mac and cheese, it'll get you.
Hey, it hit every time. He got to understand he can't do all of that. He got to eat his greens and all of that good stuff, man. He can't be eating the lobster mac and cheese, Ryan. He can't do that. No steaks, no none of that. I just need you eating nothing but salad.
That's a little rough. You get a little steak, a little mac and cheese in there. Not all salad. Get some chicken or something. But yeah, man, we obviously one of the biggest debates on this channel in the offseason was the running back room. And halfway, or I guess maybe just above halfway through the season, really none of us were wrong. I mean, every guy has shown their opportunity to play and played well. I think I may have been the only person wrong because I talked about Evan Pryor and the return of him from injury, and he's quite not back yet. So I'm kind of wrong. He hasn't really kind of got his chance. So still to be determined, not admitting I'm wrong. But every guy has taken their opportunity. And Chop was a guy where he was top 2 in the room last year, comes back for another season, and he's just kind of out of the rotation. You're like, wait, this guy deserves carries. I mean, he's back. He's played extremely well when we've seen him play. And he steps back into this game and does it again. Mike talked about making a guy miss. Every play he was making a guy or two miss, it felt like. And somebody in the chat, sorry, I forgot who it was, shouted out the offensive line for their performance yesterday, which they deserve big time credit. They were opening holes, but I think it was to the partnership of them and Chop. The way he gets to the hole and just adjusts or hits a cut makes the offensive line look a lot better. And I think maybe just that style, like Dallin did last week, just that style paired with the offensive line was running extremely well. So shout out to both of them for being on the same page and him seeing those creases. In the last 2 weeks, we've gotten really good play. Still think Travion Henderson's the guy, so that he does stuff, people, other people in the room cannot do. But it just shows you around this room, we got a good set of backs. And everybody's going to have their moment. And in some games, it's just going to be tough slaying. And a guy like Mayan may just have to be the guy for that game. Chip, again, he has his uses. Trey, just get him in space. Dallin has shown he deserves carries at times. I'm still not with this red shirt thing. I still think he deserved carries yesterday because there's just no point in that. But yeah, I think we've all been right. So chat, whoever running back you picked, besides Evan Pryor, you've all been right for that. Big time shout out to him. Big time shout out to Tony Alford for having this room ready to go. And I have no complaints. He deserves a raise. He deserves that Parker Fleming money, man.
Absolutely. We got to get our guy paid, and we will keep banging the drum to get Tony Alford a raise. I hope we don't get too loud about it and get him a new job.
Right.
But, man, I appreciate everyone tuning in. We have 144 people in here. We got 86 likes. Let's run that up to 100. 14 more people. Let's get to 100 likes before we get out of here. It would be cool if we got to 144, but we'll set the goal at 100. We are going to take some questions before we get out of here. If you drop those questions in the chat, we will star those and get to them. But let's jump into this first one.
I just want to say this, Ron, before you read that off. If you ain't like the video, are you a Team Up North fan?
That's what I'm saying. Inclined to think you are a hater.
We got more Team Up North fans in here than Buckeye fans. Where you got Buckeye Nation like that video? Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Top 10 victory. We got to get at least 100 likes in.
Come on, man.
They come in here and say like the video. What are you talking about? Y'all better be liking the video.
So, all right, here's our first one. So I knew this would be a topic of conversation with the play of Jermaine Matthews. Will we be better with Burke, Hancock, and Matthews instead of Iggy? And I don't know if I'm ready to go there. I'd like to see a rotation just to keep their legs fresh, but I think Iggy provides a ton in the run game. Like, his sure tackling is something that I love to see out there from my corners. I'll take the occasional pass interference. I'll take the occasional touchdown because I know at least 2 times a game I'm going to turn and say, who the hell made that tackle? And it's Iggy. Every single time. Anytime I ask that question, it's Iggy jumping up after smacking someone. So while I think Jermaine played great, I think they need to get in there and I think they need to find a way to get all 4 of them on the field.
Yeah, I quote tweeted, I think Bill Rabinowitz, he posted a video or whatever. He posted a video of our guys on the defensive side and Iggy going in, making a tackle. And my question was why does Iggy trigger faster than our linebackers? And like his first step is back, their first step is up, and he's more yards away from the play. But I think Iggy processes things really fast. I definitely believe Matthews needs to rotate in, but like the touchdown that Iggy gave up against Maryland on like a little slant or whatever. That was the touchdown Matthews gave up. Both of them are right there. They're not getting burnt. But what Iggy provides in that run game is no. I like it. And also, a lot of these passes that Iggy does give up, like when he's playing off coverage, is because Jim knows is like, we'll give you that because Iggy going to come up and smack you. It's a reason why we do that stuff. So don't count that against Iggy. It's a defensive scheme. Y'all just gotta pay attention to that. That's why he's playing off the way he is.
I think this is definitely a scenario where we have so much talent and you can't go wrong with who you have on the field. And I don't think that we saw Jermaine step in for Denzel and it didn't seem like we saw a drop off from our from our secondary, but I don't think that means like take Denzel off the field. I
We
think that
got
just shows that
Iggy.
we have the horses that we can rotate. And definitely with the injury that we saw Denzel had and the performance that we saw from Jermaine, I want these guys off the field in blowouts significantly faster because Jermaine proved that he can go spell either one of them. So I don't know if that means, hey, let's insert him into the starting rotation immediately. It definitely means if we're winning, get our top corners off the field because there's no need to have an injury in that room when you have the depth pieces. And I think Jermaine earned the reps and the snaps. Like he shows that he deserves to be on the field. So absolutely, I think Jermaine should get more snaps, but I'm not ready to go as far as saying take Iggy off the field. Q, what were you going to say?
Starters next year. There are starters next year. Iggy and Matthews. They start next year. Iggy can't go in the draft this year, so there's don't rush it. we got a beautiful setup right now. Don't rush it.
Yeah, no, and I think too at times people forget Igby Nelson is only a sophomore, man. This is only his second year in college football. He's going to be back next year. He's got time to continue to develop in Tim Walton's room and continue to work on being a lockdown corner. And I think even without being necessarily a lockdown corner, he's been damn good this offseason. Mike talked about the catch again against Maryland. Like, it's a one-handed catch with the ball on a dime. He doesn't give up easy stuff. He may get grabby or have a penalty every now and then where you're like, all right, you got to let that go. But for the most part, man, he has been solid. Just taking out the run stuff, taking out the run support in the pass game has been very solid. And yes, the defense is designed to give up some short yardage plays and stuff like that. So that will happen. But also, too, talked about it, shooting in the run game, the attitude he brings to this defense. I credit him with a lot of the secondary turnaround, with his attitude on the field, the dog mentality he brings out. He's willing to step up and hit somebody. He's willing to do whatever this defense needs him to do. And he's the guy getting challenged for the most part, game in and game out, because people don't want to try Burke. So a lot of credit to him, man. And I'm putting him right behind Burke on that list. And the other two guys got to fight to get in there. Y'all know I love Jordan Hancock. You know, I've been talking about Jordan Hancock since the offseason. I'm like, man, he's got to start. He's got to be the guy. But Igby Nelson is cornerback number 2 on this team, playing good football, continues to set the tone. So, no, we need him on the field because you take him off the field, I think the cornerback room, regardless who out there, takes a step down.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Jersey. I mean, we talk about the contributions from Ohio on this team. I mean, our quarterbacks from Jersey, we got Iggy, Taiwan Malone, Cody Simon coming up with a couple big plays this week. So big shout out to Jersey. I know those guys don't like to be forgotten because we got a Jersey presence on this team. I want to move on to the next question. What were and I feel like this has become a recurring segment, should be sponsored by someone, but our weekly apologies to Kate Stover. Bro was out there balling.
Yeah, shout
man,
out
that's
Kate.
all I can say, man. Bro is balling. I've been so critical of Cade Stover, and man, it feels like every week it's an apology from me, and I won't stop doing it because he deserves it, man. The kid has done everything that this school has asked of him. He's played every position. I mean, we saw him play both sides of the ball like he's Travis Hunter in the Rose Bowl a few years back, and to see him really solidify himself as potentially a day 2 type of draft pick at tight end, and him improving his blocking, him improving his pass catching, his run after the catch, just overall, the guy's balling. I can't say enough about it. And every week that he balls out, I will continue to get on here, sing his praises, and eat crow and apologize for doubting the great Farmer Gronk.
Yeah, I definitely doubted him. I think everybody has been calling me out for my G. Scott tight end number 1, but I've seen K make tremendous improvement from last year and this year, and from the beginning of the season to this year. Shout out to K. Yes, I'm sorry, but if you was to talk to K and ask K, he don't want no apology. He likes when you talk bad about him. Like, he tells the coaching staff, "Don't tell me what I did good. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it." Like, he wants you to tell him what he like. He will get mad at you. So, I mean, hey, maybe Kay was watching best damn me. I don't know, man. Got a little bit motivated, man.
Yeah, man. We'll continue to call him out for what he doesn't do. I'm just messing around, man. Kay had another good game. What did I tell you? Take the over. every week. J Book's probably done bought 2 houses now off the performance of Case over going down the week. He says every time I'm taking the over. Yeah, man. I love it from K. And shout out to Coach Key, man. Obviously, the past game is where we wanted to see the tight ends get better at, and it looks like that has started with Case over, a guy we thought like maybe time had passed, but he continues to make plays week in, week out. So shout out to him, continues to perform. He's always open. It doesn't matter. 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him. Kyle will throw it anyway, so it don't really matter. He's always open, continues to make plays. When we need him, he shows up. So, yeah, I apologize, Case, over stuff I've said, but you know what? It was motivation for you, and you were like, you know what, Q? I messed up in the past. I got you this week. So, hey, man, continue to ball out. Continue to perform.
All right, and we're going to get into our last question here. But before we do that, make sure you like that video. If you are new around here, we got tons of people in here. We appreciate you, Buckeye Nation, for all the support. And if you're watching and you're not a fan of the Buckeyes, let us know who your team is in the chat. We appreciate you guys watching too. So shout out Buckeye Nation. Make sure you run up that like, and shout out everyone for supporting Best Damn Media. We appreciate all of you. So we're going to jump into our last question here from our guy, Mark A. Lewis Jr. Why is Teton perceived as this all-time great team of the century and they haven't done anything? Are they really that good, or is it just because the national media rather see them on top? Well, for those of you that know and watch some of our other shows, I shut my camera off when I start talking about J.J. McCarthy because I don't want people to clip me up. But I do think this Michigan team is legit. I think the Heisman hype is legit. J.J. McCarthy is out here fucking balling, man. I'm buying the Michigan hype right now. Every time I want to watch them and hate on them, I see little Mike Sanders still making some sort of crazy ass play. They have a solid defense. I still am a Donovan Edwards believer. The fact that he's not doing anything worries me because law of averages, I think he figures it out here soon. The Michigan team seems to impress me and look better each week that I watch them. So I am starting to buy the Michigan hype. I think we are on track for a slobber knocker of a game here in November. So I do think Michigan is a solid team despite their lack of opponents. I have come away impressed every time I've watched them for the most part. I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Well, what the hell happened there, guys? I'm glad to be back. I think someone hacked my shit. But I heard you guys were talking Michigan. Mike, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, man, I don't think that there's some all-time great team. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't feel that way at all. I know that I think that was Ron's cousin or whoever that came on saying that they was
I don't know who hacked into my audio, but that shit was crazy.
Man, you let your cousin over there yesterday, so that's why I thought it had to be your cousin, right? So, I mean, honestly, I'm not that impressed. I'm really not. I mean, just like I wasn't really impressed with what Penn State was doing. Now, I do think they're a better team than Penn State because they can get the ball down vertically. They are more consistent, and JJ is showing that he's the better quarterback than Drew Aller. I can say that. So, but if this offense ever gets rolling by the end of the season, shit. All-time great team, my ass. You can clip me up saying that.
Yeah, man. All-time great team. I don't know about quite all of that. I think Michigan's a very solid team, and I knew they would be after coming back with what they had last season. Still don't have major fears. I feel like we're walking the path of seeing another great Michigan-Ohio State game. I think that's what we're going to get. This team has flaws. That team isn't something where I'm like, we'll never beat them. Like, no, it's not even like that. But they are a very solid team. So I'm not buying the hype like whoever, hack Ron's audio and all that. I will not go that far. Like the comment said, they haven't done anything. They really haven't played anybody like that. So until they do, we'll finally see what they can do in a big time game. But they're solid, man. It's going to be a good game at the end of the season, and that's what it should be. Not afraid of them by any means. I always fear this Penn State game more. Donovan Edwards, one of the guys I would fear, hasn't got it going yet. And you're going to tell me these wide receivers are that damn good?
Roman Wilson is.
I mean, I got to see it. I got to see him go get somebody big time to do it. I think he's had a good season. I'm not going to hate, but I got to continue to see it. So, no, not fearing them. Don't think they're all-time great. Still think they would get in the playoffs and find a way to fuck around and lose in the first round. So, you know, it is what it is. They don't fear me. They play somebody big time around the nation. I think they would be in trouble. So.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like I saw MSU make some plays, and I was just like, they should. I don't know. I saw MSU make some plays, and I'm just like, if they went up against a team that could consistently do this, it's gonna be fun. Like, it's just gonna be wild. But just like they don't play nobody.
Yeah, man. The Buckeyes have passed their two big tests so far this season in defeating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Penn State Nittany Lions, getting a massive top 10 win against the number 7 team in the country, 20-12. I appreciate everyone tuning into this episode of Buckeye BS. Before we get out of here, Mike, let the people know where they can find you.
Man, you can find me on Twitter at 216_wildboy. You can also catch me here every Sunday, Buckeye BS. We start at 10 a.m. Make sure you come bright and early. And Wednesday, our national show, you can catch me there at 7:30 Eastern time. Sorry, I'm Central time, so I
got to do the math. Carry the one
all the time, man. And then sometimes I hop in with Chris Drew and Ron on Saturdays for the pregame college show, man. And it's always a good time. We be talking smack in there, just breaking down some good games, having some good time. So definitely make sure you subscribe. If you have not subscribed, you are missing out. We drop content all the time.
Yeah, man. If you want to find me, City Boy Quentin on Twitter, Lana Johnson pretty much everywhere else. I'm here with Ron, 8 a.m.s. It might be 5 a.m. for me, might not, but every morning during the week, Buckeye Roast, obviously our flagship show here, Buckeye BS, where it all started, getting the gang in here and talking ball after every week, 10 a.m. on Sunday. Don't miss it. A lot of content coming. Continue to try to grow this channel. And we're not just here, man. We're other places, and Ron will tell you about that. But don't forget to tap in with Best Damn Media.
Absolutely. You can find us all over the place. We do content 7 days a week. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2_TEES. You can find me here every Sunday for the flagship Buckeye BS at 10 a.m. Q and I do an Ohio State show every morning at 8 a.m.-ish, kind of. Around that time, sometime in the morning. Look for us. We are live every day. So keep an eye out for the Buckeye Roast. Like Mike said, our national show on Wednesday, the Fans Edge, and then the college football pregame show. If you're not doing anything on Saturday mornings before Buckeye games, come kick it with us. It's a party on the channel every Saturday morning. Whole lot of shenanigans. It is our funnest show that we do each week. It is a very loose environment, and it's just a little pregame before the show. So come kick it with us for that. And of course, you can find me and Chris Drew Mondays and Thursdays in the Bleacher Report app in the Ohio State team stream, live on Monday at 2 p.m. and on Thursday at 4:30. So make sure that you have the Bleacher Report app downloaded and you have the Ohio State team stream loaded so you can tap in with me and Chris Drew every week. We appreciate you tuning into the flagship Buckeye BS.
Check the likes.
Yes, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your support. Go Bucks and OH.
I-O.
Trying to find the outro.